Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
And this is Megan with Believe in the Run.
And today we are so excited because we are talking about one of the hyped up shoes that we love with plates and foam and all that. The ASICS METASPEED Sky.
Nailed it.
What? So Megan, this shoe has been hyped ever since Sarah Hall was running in the London Marathon. We got a good look at this shoe. We then got another look at it at the Marathon Project, and like excitement levels just layering upon layer, and everybody's wanting to know this shoe. People have been trying to get sneak peeks at it. We saw it on Yuki. People are posting, pictures on Instagram, and everybody wants to know, is ASICS coming to the plate with a viable super shoe that I'm gonna say, off the bat, I'm gonna call this the Lannister. Megan won't know what that is because she didn't watch Game of Thrones, but Jaime Lannister was the Kingslayer. And I'm gonna tell you, we might have a Kingslayer in this shoe.
Wow, bold.
I'm gonna start off bold. He also lost a hand, but that's a whole different story. So Meg, where do you wanna start with the shoe?
I say let's start with the upper.
Did you know that this upper is made from recycled water bottles?
I
or
didn't.
Plastic bottles. I guess they didn't have to have water in them, but it's 100% recycled. So before we get even into the performance, this shoe is a great environmental shoe up on the upper here.
And ASICS mentioned that that is one of their goals for all their shoes moving forward. They're gonna have a recycled component in the upper.
But who cares if it's environmentally sound if it doesn't perform well? And this upper performs well. It is super light, super breathable. Meg, tell them about the design.
So it's just one piece mesh upper, super thin, like Thomas said, really breathable. The whole goal of this was just to make it as light as possible and breathable and minimal, but also giving you the structure and support that you need around the heel and collar.
Yeah, you're gonna notice it has kind of diagonal lines, and what that does is you can have very thin open mesh in one part and then a little bit of a stronger mesh weave in the other part, and that lets a ton of air come in. So as you're coming through, ASICS tested this with the Metaracer, as the air is coming through, it cools down the feet, cooler body, lower heart rate, excellent. It breathes really well. With this design, the way that it's woven laterally, it can still hold your foot well and keep it in place without having to have like a really thick mesh. I, again, as you know, have a narrow foot, and you can kind of see I've buckled this in a little bit, but ASICS makes a little bit of room there for you to buckle it in. Meg, you have a wider foot. How did you feel it fit?
So I really liked the fit of the upper, and it reminded me quite a bit of the Saucony Endorphin Pro in terms of the fit and also the lightweight design and build. I will say that this shoe might actually be a little bit wider in the forefoot here and a little bit narrower in the heel.
It is a little bit wider in the forefoot. They found that it gave that stability off toe off, especially when you're running at faster paces and you're coming through. The wider base helped. We'll get down to that midsole in a little bit because we're still talking about the upper. What you're gonna find, and why I think you feel it's similar to the Endorphin Pro, is you have a lightweight upper, you have a very thin tongue, and then you have some padding around the collar, which actually helps keep that foot and ankle locked in. Some of the other super shoes have kind of given way on the fit around the collar to save weight. This padding actually helps, keeps your foot locked in nicely. The tongue, I'd have to say, in past, I'm always criticizing ASICS for having a really high tongue. This one, when I used the lockdown laces, and I pretty much used the lockdown laces just because the laces were so long.
Yeah.
I do find that getting the lacing right on this is a little bit of a magic, you gotta kind of figure it out for yourself. As you can see, I'm kind of tight in through here, and then I had to loosen it up at the top so that it wasn't cutting into my ankle. So the ankle, I didn't have any heel lift. The shoe, the upper, everything, it worked for my foot, it worked for your foot.
Yep.
It's light, it's airy, it breathes, it fits, true to size. I'm wearing a 10.5 in this. I had been going down a half size in ASICS, but I tried on the 10 and the 10.5, and the 10.5 fits me right. So let's get down to the magic.
To the midsole.
Yeah. You got sole?
So this is, they're calling it FF Turbo. which is FLYTEFOAM
Blast Turbo.
Blast Turbo.
FLYTEFOAM Blast Turbo. But what's different about the Blast Turbo, or just the FLYTEFOAM Turbo, which is what we'd rather call it, is it's a nylon-based foam.
What's a nylon-based foam?
Funny you should ask. Have you ever heard of Kleenex?
Yes.
Do you know they're really facial tissues? Have you ever heard of chapstick?
Lip balm.
Right. What's an escalator?
A moving stairway.
Moving stairway. What is a popsicle?
What was it? A
A frozen treat on a stick. Well, nylon foam is what some people would call Pebax, but Pebax is a brand of nylon foams. This is ASICS proprietary nylon foam for racing, the FLYTEFOAM Blast Turbo. And let me tell you something, how's it feel underfoot, Meg?
I really enjoyed it. They say the stack is only 33.28, but it feels like you have some substantial cushioning underfoot. And I really liked the softness to responsive ratio.
You can feel that plate.
Yeah, so it was soft enough that you compressed on landing, and then that plate really gave you that pop off on toe off.
You could look at the outside of a shoe and you could measure it and you'd be like, whoa, that's like 40 something stack height, but that's not how they measure it. What they do is they take out the sock liner and the other parts and they measure from here to here. So the midsole can come up and cradle the foot without adding to the overall stack height. So with the geometry of this, you really feel the plate, how it kind of kicks up right underneath the toes, and it really has a fast feel through it. Of all the plates and the way that they toe off, this one probably has one of the more aggressive feelings for me.
Yeah, I really liked the sort of rocker geometry that Thomas is talking about here, and you really feel it when you pick up the pace. So I felt like the faster I was going, the better this shoe felt.
Yeah. The way that this comes out, the lateral edge, what did they call this? The lateral spine or something?
The midsole flare.
The midsole flare coming through here, it pops out a little bit, and there's actually a reason for it. One, it helps you go off your toe. Two, the way that it's designed, the way it compresses on landing actually helps provide more pop with less material under the toe. I really felt like this competes not just with the current models that are out there and the current top models. This may actually be my favorite midsole of any racing shoe out there, period.
So is this gonna be on your feet at your next race?
I am planning on doing training, and if I keep hitting the numbers I'm hitting with it right now, this will be on it. I have been using the Alpha Fly, but I've been worried that it may be putting too much load on my hamstrings, and I've been running with this and pick up the pace, and it feels like it's a little gentler on my body. So I'm able to hit the paces I wanna hit, and it might be better for me just overall.
All right, well, we gotta talk about the outsole because this ASICS grip is grippy.
Yeah, this is super grippy, and it came from their trail shoes, so.
Yeah, so they first started using this in their trail shoes.
The Trabaco, and it was super grippy, it's super tough. It's not the lightest rubber out there, but the amount of grip, and especially in wet conditions, and that's something we can talk about because today Megan and I both took it out for a workout. I had hills and 400s, and what were you doing?
I was doing 1Ks.
And it was pouring here in Baltimore. As a matter of fact, we're not gonna give you the weight for our shoe today because they're soaking wet and it probably adds some ounces, so we'll give you the standard weights for the 9 and the 7.
Yeah, so a men's size 9 is 7 ounces or 199 grams, and the women's is 5.8 ounces or 168 grams, I believe.
Yeah. That basically 7-ounce shoe is right there with the Vaporfly and the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite, or Deviate Elite Nitro. It's right in there in those top lightweight racing shoes with this much cushion. I would say of the super shoes that we've tried, this also has the grippiest outsole.
I would have to agree.
Yeah. In doing my 400s today, we had some turning and corners and I was running through puddles and everything like that. I felt like I could maintain pace and just hit those corners just fine without losing any grip at all.
And if you remember in London with Sarah Hall, that finishing kick,
all wet.
Probably thanks to some of this guy.
So after the 18 miles on the Saturday, I took it out today for a workout, which was hill repeats and 400s, and the shoe just performed extremely well. I'm falling in love with this shoe, and like I said, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna train in my up to my May marathon in this shoe.
I've put about 22 miles on this shoe so far. The first 11 were more of just an easier pace. And then the second one was a workout with some 1Ks. I had very low expectations for my workout. I had a bad night of sleep. It's pouring rain. I didn't even look at my watch when I was out there. And when I came back, my paces were almost sometimes a minute faster per 1K than I thought.
Which was, you're running at like 6:20.
Anywhere from 5:50 to 6:30 were my 1Ks, which was way better than I thought. So I think the shoe works.
I guess we can talk about the Edge, which is the sister the sister
Why
to
is
this.
it two sisters?
It's not, it's supposed to be the sister shoe. We can talk about the ASICS
METASPEED Edge.
Thank you for the help with that, Megan.
Mouthfuls.
All these long names now. Anyway, so the Edge is a slightly less stack. So this one you said was what?
33.28.
For a 5mm drop. The METASPEED Sky. Is that really all that is?
METASPEED Sky and METASPEED Edge.
Okay,
I don't know
so
what the problem
the
is.
METASPEED Sky comes in at a retail price at $250. So right in there with the competition.
Yep.
But yeah, get used to it.
And then the METASPEED Edge is the sister shoe that is a little bit lower profile, so lower stack. It's 29.21 for an 8mm drop and a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
And that one is intended for the runner who has a higher cadence, so tiny little.
Yeah, so let's
tiny little
talk
steps.
about that. So when ASICS was developing the shoe, they found that there's two different types of runners. There's ones that stride to get faster, and there's one that pick up the cadence. So just imagine your stride getting wider as you get faster, or you're taking more steps to get faster. So this shoe is probably better for the strider. You're gonna have more bounce, you're gonna feel that forward propulsion, where the Edge is going to be lower to the ground, more trying to get you to go forward. And so instead of trying to like merge the two shoes and try to get somewhere close that work for both runners, they're like, hey,
Let's make two.
let's make two. They can do it. There'll be tools for consumers to figure out which would be best for them.
So whether you have a longer stride or you take a lot of steps.
They'll be able to help you figure out which one's right for you. It's gonna look really similar. The upper's the same, it just has a little bit different geometry in the midsole.
And same price point, so it's also $250.
Yeah. Now, say you don't wanna spend that money for the Edge or the Sky. Here you go, the Magic Racer. And I'm gonna tell you, in my feeling, the difference between these two shoes is light years. This one feels like the super shoe that it is. This one feels more like the daily trainer. I'm gonna say this one would be used for people that like to use like a Zoom Fly, or like to use, maybe they're gonna go with the Saucony Speed over the Pro.
Yeah.
You have a nice engineered mesh upper. Unlike the full plate that's in here, this does have a plate. It just is only 3/4 of the shoe, and it also kind of tapers off on the toes. Lots more rubber on the bottom. They were saying that it was for the marathoner who's not trying to get the Boston qualifier, is not trying to get those really fast times, that's willing to compromise, and you do get a compromise. The price on this is $150.
Unlike the Saucony Endorphin lineup, where you've got the Shift and the Speed and the Pro, and you probably want to buy all three and then use them for different race days or different days of running, you only want one of these, right?
You could train in this and then use this for race day. Try doing tempo workouts and stuff in this and then use this for race day. But you're only gonna get either the Edge or the Sky based on your type of cadence or stride that you have. They're not trying to create three shoes for you the way that Saucony is. I don't even know if I would get these two. I would probably decide whether you wanna go balls out and have a great marathon, or you want to go balls out.
Or
yeah, 3-inch shorts all the way. Or you want to go with the Speed and you're like, I want to spend $150. It's still a fun, fast shoe. Like I said, it feels a lot more like a traditional trainer. It does have a plate, but for me, the story is this guy right here.
I think this falls sort of on an even playing field with the New Balance RC Elite 2 and maybe even the Puma Deviate Elite. No, this one is a notch above that. Nike Vaporfly, yeah, it's probably right there, right on the same playing field.
I'm excited to try this. This would be, if I do wear this for my marathon coming up in May, this would be my first non-Nike running shoe I've run a marathon in like 6 years. I've run in the Elite, the Streak 6, Vaporfly Next Percent, Alpha Fly. So this would be the first time I'm shifting brands. That's how good this shoe is, I feel.
Question, is it because you have the bright orange Falk matching socks?
I do feel I found the best sock lineup for this shoe. It's a Swiftwick, and I mean,
it's very aggressive.
Oh, that is some beautiful sockage. Swiftwick, ASICS, we're money. Look at that, it's beautiful. So once again, we're asking you to
subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, do some other stuff.
Yeah, the other stuff would be like this video, check out our podcast. We are gonna have Clayton on from ASICS, who just won the Gate River Run 15K wearing the prototype of this shoe. So he'll be able to talk to us about his experience in it. Additionally, we're gonna set up another podcast where we're gonna talk to the designers at ASICS, and we're gonna have them go through the shoe and maybe be even more articulate than we were here reviewing it.
Definitely be more articulate.
Yeah. Check it out.
Bye.
Bye. I would throw the shoe, but here, you know what? Pretend I'm throwing this one.
People don't like it when you throw it.
Pretend I'm throwing this one, but there you go. That one I'll throw. This one, stay with me. While she's looking that up, I'm just gonna clue you into some stuff. I'm serious about the shoe. It's pretty rad.
29-21.
All right, 29-20. With the geometry of the plate and the way that it rolls through, it really has a fat... Why did we have the laundry machine going during this?
I bet no one can hear it. I'm crying.
Yeah, people ask why she's married to me, and if you can make a girl laugh like this, it's pretty much why.